Welcome back. Today we're going to be building a catch can for, again, the Turbo Mustang project. Going to be kind of another DIY video, another how it's made kind of deal. All you need, for me, turns out this 3x3 by 8th wall tube will be about the capacity that I need. I think it's 8 inches long, so I've got that. I've already pre-cut a few of these things. I've got a little baffle. We'll get into it later. I need a baffle for inside the tank. I've got that. I've got some random pipe. I've got some random sheet aluminum. Of course, a tape measure, a Sharpie, and a square. And 4 well-on aluminum bungs. That should be about everything we need to get this done, other than your standard angle grinder, portaband, which you don't need. You can do all that job with an angle grinder, but portaband makes things handier. And then drill press and whatever, and of course, a welder. So, without further ado, we're gonna get into this project. Started out, of course, like I was saying, I cut this piece of tube down to about 8 or 9 inches long. I can't remember what this is. I got a tape measure right here. 8 inches long. I don't know, but I'm gonna guess this thing holds a little more than a quart, probably 1.5 quarts. I'm gonna do so. A quick rundown of how this is gonna be built. We got our actual can. We've got our weld-on fittings. Those guys are gonna go somewhere up high here, just like so. I'm doing -10 AN because they say you go any smaller, they won't vent proper, and it's too much work to force through. So -10. Those guys go up here. And then I'm gonna do a -10 here. I don't know that it needs to be a -10, it can be a weld-on nipple, but we need some kind of vent hose. So the -10 is gonna go on a cap on top. That being said, when we get oil coming through the side here from your motor, that will happen, or vapor, whatever, it will come in, and if you just have this guy right on top, it'll just create like a Venturi effect, and your oil you're trying to contain in your catch can will just vent right back out into the atmosphere, the whole thing you were trying to stop. So what you do is you'll baffle it. So I'm going to take this plate here that's roughly the size of my catch can, plenty of room to breathe, like I was saying before, I believe. I'm going to drill a hole in this guy, and then I'm going to weld this pipe on here. He's going to be vented on bottom. He's going to breathe through here, and we're going to set it inside and drop it down here. And then when we have this end cap on here, we're also going to weld this pipe to this end cap that will then have our AN fitting here. What's happening here now is you've got your oil or your vapor coming in here, and it's going to be forced to go to the bottom of the tank past this small little baffle, and then make a 180 and then come back up to be vented out, which should in turn stop any oil from getting out, as long as you maintain how much oil you let gather in your can. So anyways, I'm going to get into first. I know I need to drill a hole in the center of this guy. It's a -10 AN fitting, so that would be a 1/2 inch hole. So naturally, you probably do a 1/2 inch hole. So as I'm sitting here preparing my material, everything's ready for at least tack or weld or whatever. I'm thinking this tube is going to connect to my cap, and this is meant to be a baffle for keeping the oil flow from getting back out of my vent. I don't think I want to leave this tube this length like I initially thought, because you wouldn't have very much oil in the catch can before your outlet is like a direct connection to your vent. So I think I'm going to treat this more like a baffle, and I'm going to put this pretty high. Again, my inlets are going to go real high, and this is just supposed to break up the direct path of oil. So turn on the old gas. So I've got my hole drilled in my baffle plate. I've got my vent tube shortened up. and that seems like a good length to me. There isn't a lot of commitment being made here, so I'm just gonna go ahead and weld this tube to that baffle plate. That tungsten really hanging out of there. I like where it's at. All right. That guy's still square. Doesn't really matter. The only thing that could matter is if I got it real bad, my baffle would hug one side and it wouldn't, well, this connection wouldn't be made into my eventual top cap very square. But I'm gonna weld that out, let that cool down, because I'm gonna have to have my hands on that quite a bit. So what you saw me start doing in the time lapse was just getting a feel for where I want my inlet bungs to go. And I don't know, I set them about like that, something I think looks right. Obviously they aren't perfect, so we're gonna do the rest by measurement. But we're gonna go about 5/8 from that edge and 5/8 from the other edge. So we're gonna go 5/8 and 2 3/8 because it's a 3-inch piece of tube. Oh, and I decided on about 1 inch down from center, or from the top. So, and you can see me grab a tri-square. I use these things for everything. Nice straight lines. You can duplicate a lot of measurements easy, like I want 1 inch here. Flip it over, I want 1 inch here. It's gonna be exactly the same. And then of course, it is a square and a straight edge, or whatever. I got my 3/8 mark, the 5/8 mark there, and my other 5/8 mark here. And we're gonna center punch these guys. Bam, bam. I'm doing a little of this work because that's still warm. You saw me blowing it down. Actually, it's pretty manageable right now. I'm gonna take advantage of that. We're gonna be jumping around a little bit here. No, we're not. That'll make this video a cluster F. I'm gonna go with these holes here. We're gonna go over to the drill press. You would drill, you would think, 1/2 inch holes because it's a dash tin fitting. But these have a little step in them so you can set them in and they stay centered. And that is 13/16. That's really annoying actually. Whatever, we got step bits for that. So we'll swing around to the drill press. Good thing I got a tiny garage. Never got far to walk. Clamp that guy in there. Which way am I going? There we go. Use the step bit because actually it's probably would have been my first pick for this. Tighten that guy up. Fire it up. Bring one of these guys with so I can test where my step is, because that thing says the sizes, but I can't see them when they're spinning. There it is. One more. And that's why I like step bits. That was quick. So I'm going to take the opportunity to get every hole drilled and everything that's going to make debris out of the way right now. That way I have a chance to clean it all up and we don't put debris into our oil system. Given this should be a one-way deal, I'm still not taking a chance. So I wish I had a deburr knife, but I don't. But I've got my burrs from my saw cut here and I've got a file. So make quick work of that. And there we go. I've got some burrs from drilling my holes. Got a chainsaw round file. It'll work. All right, we're pretty much burr free. Grab the air blower. And it's pretty much good. Those guys sit there. Somehow a drill bit wandered. Nobody's ever gonna know. Got that guy there. Got my vent tube here. He's gonna go in here like this. So next I gotta build a top cap and then a hole for this AN fitting to go onto. With the AN fitting, it might be good because I might be able to take a hose and run this vent if it ends up being a puker still, even though we're trying to build a can that doesn't puke. Having this here, I can just take a line and I can run it wherever I want, where oil doesn't bother anything. So next up is the top cap. And being that this is 3x3 tube, 8th wall again, math says it'll be 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. Because I do want to leave a nice little lip for a pretty little weld on top. And math is right. Or the steel mill made it right. The aluminum mill, whatever it is. Take a piece of our scrap here and our tri-square. So 2 3/4 that way. And so it's hard to know. And 2 3/4 this way. There we go. I don't know if my vise will go big enough for this. I don't know if you return viewers have noticed. I have a workbench, it's not a tool cart. It's not the best workbench, but it's pretty exciting for me. And a vise, also pretty nice. It'll work and we'll make some cuts. There's that. Center. Obviously, a square piece of plate. Easiest way to find center. Corner to corner with a straight edge. Or whatever. Bam. And bam. I'm gonna center punch it just so our drill bit doesn't wander. All right, got our top cap. Got our tube, vent tube, got our baffle. It's tacked on. It fits. That should work pretty well. I like it. I'm gonna pull it back out. We're gonna weld that top side up because we're never gonna see that again. So it's got a seal and it's gotta go in there. So there's my next step. I want to add, I got this gas lens setup from Harbor Freight. Way better than the stock air-cooled stuff. Makes it so your hand isn't so, you're not hanging the torch so high off the material. It's nice compact, so you can really manipulate what you're trying to do a whole lot better with this gas lens setup. Anyways, shut up and weld. down to the stub. That's what we want. All right, and that's really hot. But we'll show you what we done. And there we go, there we are, and there we go. Pretty much freaking beautiful work. I'm not bragging, but, and I'm not sponsored by Yes Welder, but I'm telling you, these cheap machines, you can build top-notch quality stuff. It's freaking crazy how good that looks, actually. Anyways, I'm gonna cool this down. Next thing you'll see, I'll probably be, I don't know if I'll weld these bungs into here next, or if I'll put this guy in. No, I'm gonna put this guy in next because I don't wanna be rolling this can around and damage my AN fittings as I'm rolling this around when I'm welding it. So I'm gonna cool that down. All right, we got this guy cooled down. Now it's time to put him in here. And I like it. Put our top cap in here. I like the fit. How could you not? Looks pretty good. Let's tack it in. Look at it one more time before we make it permanent. All right, we got 4 tacks. I like the inside. Put in a little more comfortable direction, and let's go for it. Side down. There's that. Top's welded. All right, next, got to build a bottom cap. Weld my bungs on the side, weld my bung on top. I probably won't build a mounting tab in this video because I don't have a motor in the car and I don't know where I want to put this exactly. But we've gotten most of a catch channel already out of almost nothing.
Come on, spill the tea, yeah. Ooh. Alright. Woo. This is light work. Come on, spill the tea, yeah.
Alright, we got the can welded up. Now it's time to put fittings on, and it's also time to turn the weld machine up a little bit. Running all this 1/8 inch, I was running about 135 amps. I just made my first tack here and went, I better turn this up because these fittings, not like that fitting's a lot of bulk, but that flange down there is a little more serious than a piece of 1/8 inch. So we're gonna tack another guy on here. I went to 160 amps and that worked real nice. That deal's getting warm. Now, put this guy in the vise. Yikes, that guy's getting warm. I did just weld that end, that's probably why. There we go, hold him in. We will put another fitting in. I want to at least get these tacked. There we go. One tack. Two tack. All right, those guys are on. I'm gonna cool this thing down before I do any more welding. I don't know if you noticed how I only did one fitting right now. There's two fittings to go here. It's always kind of a pain in the butt to get down welded between these. These actually aren't that close together, but still, if it makes anything easier, I'm gonna do it. So I'm gonna leave that one fitting off, make that wrap real easy, and then I'll stick that guy on. Again, that won't be real difficult, but why make anything any harder than it needs to be? Anyways, I'm gonna carry on with this. We're almost there.
Come on, spill the tea, yeah. Ooh, alright. Woo, this is light work. Come on, spill the tea, yeah. Ooh.
And here we are. We're all cleaned up and got my finished product here. A catch can, start to finish, literally in like an hour. I mean, I built it out of off-the-shelf steel. I had to cut caps, cut a baffle. I didn't have to do a whole lot. And really, we have a really high quality catch can here that should work pretty well. Overview, Amazon purchased -10A and weld-on fittings. The thing's like $6 for 4. It's great. And then just some scrap pile, aluminum tube, plate, some tube inside. Really affordable and really top notch. I mean, I've looked online at what the things I can buy are, and I actually think I built something as good or maybe even better. That's yet to be found out. So anyways, if you guys like what you see here, comment below, say if there's anything you would like to see different. And don't forget, like and subscribe. We'll see you on the next one.